to the entertainment Talking Sports.
What is going on, football fans? Back at it with another New York Giants video. Of course, this is more of a broad NFL video, but it is by far the biggest news of the day in the NFL world. Wanted to get a video up on it, giving you guys my opinion of where Deshaun Watson may potentially land. And now it is official, much like Matt Stafford, this is going to happen. He is going to be traded. Deshaun Watson has officially came out and said that he wants to be traded. Supposedly came out a week ago and told Houston that he wants to be traded, but now that the official coach has been named, Watson is not happy in Houston and he wants out. And can you really blame him? Right? Obviously, they traded away all their draft assets. They made a number of really silly trades last year. They got rid of his best weapon, and Deshaun Watson sees the writing on the wall. He had a career year last year, and we're going to jump into the numbers, in which he threw 33 touchdowns and 7 interceptions, and none of it mattered. The team still went 4-12. Fresh off several playoff appearances since Watson has been there. And they completely took the rug out from underneath him. And he wants out. Doesn't really see a bright future there with Houston. Didn't like the hiring of the new GM, obviously, there, coming over from New England. And we'll see where Watson may end up. I'm going to jump into some of the favorites in this video. Of course, a lot of Giants fans, being that I'm a Giants-specific channel, are going to ask me, do the Giants have any chance whatsoever? I'm never going to rule anything out. But are they likely? Absolutely not. Do I think that they'll be the team? No. Quite frankly, one, I think that they strongly believe in Daniel Jones. Two, we know the way the New York Giants operate. They're a team that doesn't like to make rash decisions like that. And three, they don't have the capital that some of these teams have in terms of trade assets. You look at the Jets, they acquired a ton of first-round picks last year, which is why Vegas has them as the favorites to be able to throw at them. I think they have 3 first-round picks in this draft alone, not to mention a ton of cap space. Not that cap space will be that big of a factor when dealing Deshaun Watson, because this year he's only set to make about $15 million. I'll jump into all the contracts before he gets a huge acceleration. But when you think about his age and you think about this trade, this would probably go down as the biggest trade in NFL history. It will go down as the biggest trade in NFL history because it is very rare that a guy that is 25 years old, that is thought of to be one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL, hits the trade market. And when he does, well, rumors have already come out that there's going to be a bidding war. You know, I've seen the Carolina Panthers, I've seen the Chicago Bears, I've seen the New York Jets, I've seen the Miami Dolphins, I've seen the San Francisco 49ers. There's going to be a lot of teams bidding for his services, and you may have to give up upwards of 4 first-round picks to make this deal work out. And is Watson worth it? Well, it's something a lot of teams are going to have to ask themselves. I think he makes more sense in other places, in certain places more so than others, because I think they're more equipped to bring a guy like that on and give away draft assets and still be a competitive football team. And I'll talk more about it in this video. But here's the first thing I wanted to pull up for you guys, this being the tweet from Adam Schefter. Deshaun Watson officially has requested a trade from the Houston Texans, per league sources. He actually did it weeks ago. Their new head coaching hire, David Culley, has not and will not alter Watson's thinking. So Watson clearly not happy there. You saw the press conference with J.J. Watt after the fact. Watt came out and apologized to Watson to basically wasting a season from within his career. And it doesn't seem like things are very peachy for the Houston Texans. As far as his contract goes, yes, he signed the contract extension, but for 2021, he's only set to make $16 million, which isn't, all that much for a franchise quarterback. And he's only going to be 26 next year. The extension kicks in the following year in 2022, where he's set to make $40, $42, $37, and $32 million, which looks like a lot of money, but when you see the contract that Pat Mahomes got, it's really not that crazy. And then he'd be a free agent again at the conclusion of the 2025 season, in which he'd be 31 years old, still set to make an even bigger contract if he's able to prove that he could keep things going. But Watson, there's no doubt about it, is one of the most talented quarterbacks in the league, and he's still at a very young age. He's shown durability each of the last 3 years. He played all 16 games this year, in which he threw for a career high 4,823 yards with a 70% completion percentage, 33 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. He also led the league in yards per attempt with 8.9. So there's no doubt about it. A guy like this hits the open market. You can't bank on getting a guy like this in the draft. This is a proven commodity who's still only 26 years old, and it's why he's going to command as big of a price tag as rumored. And in terms of the favorites that will land him, yes, you'll notice the New York Giants on this list way at the bottom with the Minnesota Vikings at 30-1 odds. Green Bay at 33-1 odds have the longest odds. The favorite far and away is the New York Jets at 2-1, and I'll get more into why I think they are the favorite. Miami at 4-1 is a close second. Then you got the New Orleans Saints at 8-1, San Francisco, Carolina at 9-1, New England, Indianapolis, Denver, and the Rams at 10-1. Then you got the Bears, Washington, Atlanta, and Jacksonville at 12-1. So after that, I think you're talking big-time long shots. But the reason I think the Jets and Miami are at the top, I think it's self-explanatory. Now, New Orleans would be a great fit for him. He would go there, and that team would immediately compete. They have a great offensive line. They have a great defense. And if they could give away 4 first-round picks and instantly get a guy that could replace Drew Brees, I think that would make a ton of sense. San Francisco, same thing. That is a team that is set up to win. That is a team with a brilliant offensive mind in Kyle Shanahan, and they kind of already have the pieces in place. A team like the Jets, even though they are the favorite, and for good reason, I don't think they'd be that good of a football team next year by bringing in a guy like Deshaun Watson. But they do have the cap space to go out there and potentially bring in a guy like Allen Robinson to pair with the talented quarterback. But a team like the Colts, a team like the 49ers, those teams, in my opinion, are set to win now. So if you were Deshaun Watson, and it's not like Watson, well, he does have a no-trade clause, so he could force his way into, certain potential places. And you got to factor that in as well. But rumors have already come out that Watson would like to go to the New York Jets, and he would like to go to the Miami Dolphins. And if those teams, and the Dolphins would be a better fit in terms of winning next year, they already got some nice wide receivers. They went 10-6. But if those teams are willing to pony up the dough and willing to give the package that it would require, I think that's where Watson will end up, for the simple reason, if you're Houston and you trade with the Jets, you're picking second overall, and you get a ton of draft capital with that. You probably get 3 more additional first-round picks. You get to select the quarterback that's going to replace Watson. You pay him a fraction of what you'd be set to pay, have to pay Deshaun Watson in the 4 upcoming years, and you get him on that rookie deal. In addition to that, you use those picks to rebuff the rest of your football team. As the Houston Texans right now, they bring in a new head coach, they have a new GM. They have to start completely from scratch. And the way I look at it is, if the Jets are willing to give up that kind of price tag, they make the most sense. And I think it's why Vegas has them as the odds-on favorite. Miami as well. They have a ton of draft capital after some of the trades they've made as of late. In terms of the win-now teams, yeah, if New Orleans was willing to give up 4 first-round picks and maybe the Jets aren't willing to do that, well, maybe Houston listens there. The Bears as well. Both of those teams in desperate need for a quarterback. But the other thing you got to factor in, I did a quarterback carousel video. You look at all the other quarterbacks that are going to be out there, Matt Stafford included, there's going to be some options for these teams via trade. Matt Ryan, Matt Stafford, guys like that. And we're going to have to wait and see how this wild and crazy offseason plays out. A guy like Stafford isn't going to cost you nearly as much. He's 32 years old. He'd probably cost you 1 first-round pick as opposed to 4. But a guy like Watson, those guys don't grow on trees. And when you can get them at 25 and have the potential possibility of having him be your franchise quarterback for the next 10, 15 years, it is very hard to pass up on that, especially if you're a team like the New York Jets. You have not had a franchise quarterback really since Joe Namath. It's been a long time for the New York Jets, and if they have an opportunity to grab him, it's going to be hard to say no. In terms of the best fit, though, I think it's more a team that's a win-now team that can afford to give away that draft capital. If he goes to the Jets, you figure it's still going to take another couple of years before they could truly compete for a Super Bowl. The Giants, don't bank on it. I think Daniel Jones will be your quarterback in 2021. As always, guys, if you liked what you watched, please subscribe. Drop a comment. Maybe give me a little thumbs up. Cheers.